After more than 4 months of investigating, the Ingham County Prosecutor's Office announced 3 MSU football players will be charged with sexual assault. MSU police say the assault happened January 16th at University Village Apartments in East Lansing. The 3 players had been suspended back in February. Now they're heading to court. Their names will not be released until they're arraigned, and we'll let you know when that happens. We'll also let you know if the players will be arrested or if they'll be allowed to turn themselves in. A staff member on the football team was also investigated. The prosecutor says that person will not be charged. MSU will not confirm if that staff member is Curtis Blackwell, but he was suspended around the same time the investigation started. His contract was allowed to run out last week, and he is no longer employed by the university. The announcement came shortly after MSU released the report into whether or not the football staff properly handled the sex assault reports. The investigation by the law firm Jones Day says Coach Mark D'Antonio learned about the allegations against the 3 players when he was meeting with another player in a regularly scheduled session. D'Antonio said during that meeting the player became emotional and began to make a statement regarding a woman who he had to help, saying, quote, "I had to get her out of there. She is my friend," end quote. The player did not go into specific details on when, where, or who was involved. D'Antonio said at that time he contacted authorities immediately. The investigation concluded all current MSU football and athletic staff followed procedures and did not impede the investigation in any way.
Coach D'Antonio and his team, particularly Coach D'Antonio, handled this in the utmost manner with integrity and with swiftness and consistent with the policy. So that takes all of those issues off the board with respect to Coach D'Antonio and the team that is currently there.
The report says a staff member who refused to cooperate with the investigation spoke to the player who first alerted D'Antonio to the incident. It says that same staffer questioned the 3 players and discussed the incident with one of their parents. But the investigation revealed the staffer did not report any of that information to school officials or police. President Simon was asked if that was Curtis Blackwell.
What about Curtis Blackwell?
We didn't have to reach that issue because other decisions were made by the football team, football staff, Coach D'Antonio, that we didn't follow up on that point because he's no longer employed at Michigan State.
His conduct wasn't reviewed at all?
The report will speak for itself.
The report never mentions Curtis Blackwell by name. It also says, with the exception of the person who refused to cooperate, no evidence was found that any staff member violated school policy. Michigan State hired Jones Day to look into how the January incident was handled. The investigation eventually covered the case of former player Austin Robertson as well. He's charged with sexually assaulting a woman in Meridian Township in April. He was kicked off the team after he was charged. We'll be covering Robertson's preliminary hearing on June 22nd. Here's where things stand tonight. 3 Michigan State players will be arraigned on sexual assault charges. The football staff member who was part of the investigation will not be charged. An independent investigation found that Coach Mark D'Antonio followed the proper procedures when he learned about the allegations. If D'Antonio or Athletic Director Mark Hollis talk tonight, we'll have it for you on fox47news.com.